In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we finish the metal parts of the van, like this D pillar and the B pillar and the C pillar. We're talking pillars. So I'm going to show you how we get a finish that looks really professional. And I'm going to show you the simple hack that we use that took us from taking about 3 or 4 hours to do this D pillar to now takes about 30 minutes. So if you're doing your own DIY van conversion, or if you're looking for a builder to build your van and you want to make sure that they do it right, then this video is definitely for you. So let's get into it. Now, I've done a couple of videos where I talked about how we wrap the metal and some of the other parts of the van in marathon fabric. In this van, I thought I'd go a little bit deeper and show you exactly how we install these covers on the D pillar. This D pillar is probably the most difficult part to wrap, and we found something that makes it really super easy. And these are covers that are made by GoCode. They've given us a coupon code to share, and so I'll link to that in the description. So if you're interested in picking up these pillar covers, then check that link out down below. Now, we use these D pillar covers on every van that we're doing now. They also make covers, they make blocks that go in the very front of the van. They make a piece that goes across above the slider, and then one that comes down the C pillar behind the slider. Now, we typically don't use those just because of the way that we finish the vans. We wrap the metal, but you could definitely pick up those pieces as well, and it's going to make it a lot easier to do those parts. I've done a video where I show you how we wrap the blocks that are above the headliner on either side, and that's a really simple thing to do. So I will link to that video in the description down below if you want to check that out. You can pick up those blocks if your van did not come with them. You can pick them up from your local Mercedes-Benz dealer or from a Mercedes-Benz parts source online, and I'll put the part numbers down below, but hopefully your van came with those blocks. The other option is GoCode makes some blocks that are a little bit more streamlined, and you can use those if your van didn't come with the blocks. Now, GoCode has a couple of options. You can get these covers. So this is the one that goes up above the sliding door. It actually goes this way. These things are kind of where the ribs go across, so you can put that up. So they make these, they come in ABS plastic, but you can also get them wrapped. So what we're doing now is we're actually ordering them wrapped because it saves so much time and gives such a professional look. They have a few different colors on their website, but if you contact them, I think that they'll do custom colors as well. So it's this marathon tweed fabric. Sometimes it's called Duramax. That they use, and there's several different color options available. This is the oatmeal. We also do a lot of the charcoal, or there's a steel gray. Contact them for more information on the colors. But like I say, you can buy the pieces unwrapped, but I think it's worth it for a little bit of extra money to buy them already wrapped. So let's get into exactly how we do the install on these D pillars. Now, before I do that, I just want to explain, we used to wrap the metal, and it was such a hassle. First of all, there's lots of holes, and you have to cover all of those. We would use a metal duct, tape that's used for air conditioning ducting. We cover all the holes, and then we would wrap the top piece, and then we'd put little pieces in the corner to fill that area in, and then we'd do pieces up here. And honestly, it would usually take 2 or 3 tries. We'd end up ripping some of the pieces off, redoing them. It's really not a fun or easy job, but I'm going to show you just how easy it is to install these covers, and they actually look a lot better than just wrapping the metal.
The first thing that you're going to need to do is drill out some holes so that you can install riv nuts. So there's 4 holes across the top of the D pillar, and then there's a couple of holes down each side. You're going to drill these holes out, and then you're going to prime them, and then you're going to install the riv nuts. Now, on the D pillar, there are 4 holes that'll match up with the cover. The middle 2 are already threaded, and the top and bottom ones you're going to need to drill out and install riv nuts. Here we're installing the final 4th riv nut across the top of the D pillar, and then we're going to be ready to go ahead and attach the cover. So you're just going to take that top cover piece and you kind of have to twist it and bend it and get those two slotted holes to fit over the catches for the doors. And it's a little bit tricky. You kind of got to twist it and bend it, but it'll go on there. Just make sure they're lined up straight. And then once you get it all up in there, you're just going to kind of push it up in and make sure that the weather stripping kind of just butts up against it. You don't even have to remove the weather stripping, just make sure that it doesn't get caught in that cover, kind of like it is here in the middle. If it does, you just kind of pull the cover back and work the weather stripping up so that it's sitting over it. And then you're just going to insert the supplied bolts. So the ones that are for the riv nuts are 1/4 20 bolts, and I recommend just kind of getting each one in loosely. The holes can be a little bit tricky to line up, so if you tighten one down, you're not going to be able to line up all the others. So get each one in finger tight loosely. If you have to use something to kind of align the hole with the threads, then do that. And this really isn't that difficult, but it is probably the trickiest part of the whole install, is just making sure that you get all of these in straight and that you don't cross thread any of the bolts. So just take your time, have a, look up in there, make sure the holes are lined up, and then loosely fit them all in. And then once you have all of those in loosely, go back and just tighten all of the screws up across the top, and then you're ready to install the sides. Now on the sides, you're definitely going to want to install a riv nut for the top holes. Then we just put the cover up and we loosely install all of the bolts. Now these are a little bit trickier than the top ones to get installed. So you're really going to have to kind of push and twist to line up the holes and make sure that those bolts go in straight, because if you don't, it's really easy to get them cross-threaded. And once you got one side finished, you just move to the other side and do the exact same thing. So I recommend that you start with the two middle ones. They're a little bit larger bolts. They fit into the factory threaded holes that are in the D-pillar, and then work your way up to the smaller ones where you install the riv nut, and then on the bottom finally use the push clip to attach the bottom of the D-pillar covers. Now this is the push clips or push pins that they provide. They're just plastic, and like I said, we use these in the bottom. You just push them in and they hold that bottom piece in really well.
Now, hopefully this video helped you, give you some pointers and some resources if you're finishing your own van. They do make these for sprinters, for I believe the high roof transits. They don't make them for the ProMasters or the medium roof transits at this time. So if you've got one of those vans, you're just gonna have to wrap the metal. But if you are doing a sprinter or a high roof transit, then I would definitely recommend picking these up. So if you want to see more videos like this, van building tips and tricks, products, tools, everything about van building and van life, then please consider subscribing to our channel and be sure to smash that like button. And we'll see you in the next video. Jeff with Thrive Vans, thrive on. See ya.